how to meet the best person for a relationship that you could be in, your soulmate, your one true love, your whatever. However you want to put it. I love this concept. If you haven't seen How I Met Your Mother, oh my god, I am a sucker for that. Such a big sucker. Note the word sucker. I'm not here to be negative. I'm here to say it's not a one-to-one value. There are no straight lines in nature, only in programming. I can find straight lines there. Dan Savage said this the best. You pay the price of admission. That's how it works. He's not a one, you're a one. Dan is gay. It's a she or he is a 0.6 and you round up. Paying the price of admission so that you can be with that person. Being able to filter out the nuances, put yourself aside, and let the good parts shine through. Standing back so that when the good parts do shine through, they shine so bright. How do you find this person? Well, that is a very tough question, but a very good one. And to be very, very frank, how this works, it's actually you can be very calculated about this, and you can do it so easily. I've done it numerous times, and I could have dated multiple people. Notice I don't say hundreds. I mean multiple people who would have been good people to be in a relationship for me. Why? Because I met them in the flow. I met them in doing things that I like to do, and we had great conversations over that stuff. That's why. I was in something that inspires me. I told them about things I love. They told me about themselves. I listened. We were out dancing, swing dancing. I love dancing. That's where I met a lot of people. And guess what? I met tons of single people. Yeah, there were lots of people with boyfriends and girlfriends. I meant to say, personally, I'm straight, so I don't need to defend myself. But what a weird position to put myself in. I look like an... Okay. But, okay. But the point is, though, the other place I met people like that was in college. I met tons of people who were in the flow of creating, personally, entrepreneurship. I met lots of people who wanted to build things for themselves. Meetup.com, another great example. You go there, you meet people. My God, we're having a conversation about something that we both love and have something in common with. The best relationships that I have ever seen are ones that have very core values in common with, and they met each other in the flow of doing things. If you don't go out and do things and do stuff and explore and be you outside of your house, off the TV, you will not meet the person who is the highest, where you have to do the lowest amount of rounding up. My dad, oh my gosh, I love my mom and dad. They're absolutely wonderful people, but particularly my mom was an alcoholic. And you want to talk about rounding up? Well, enabling and low self-esteem, but rounding up from like a 0.1 to a 1. Why would you want to do that? Oh man, because he met her on an off chance. They lived in the same apartment building. That's cool. I'm not saying that's not the way it works, but they didn't meet each other in the flow of doing something in common. My favorite example of actually two favorite, Dan Savage and his husband, both gay, both gay, no shit. I meant gay because they have something very in common. Here in Washington, we very recently legalized gay marriage, and Seattle is, particularly Capitol Hill, is one of the capitals of homosexuality, and which I love because it's the front runner of leading the world towards just accept people as they are. Stop trying to force everyone into something. They came together. I don't know what their relationship is like. Dan doesn't really talk about that, but he talks about their relationship in a way where, yeah, we do have disagreements, but he's such an awesome person. I love being with him. My other favorite example of a relationship, they're chiropractors. They met in school. They have all their religious core beliefs about life and the future are very, very similar. Very much so on the same path. And these people I lived with them. I was able to analyze what the relationship was like and to learn from for myself. And by far, they communicate constantly, and they're both very level-headed, and they listen to each other, they communicate, and I mean, they're not rounding up from a 0.3. It's much higher, they love being around each other. You know, everyone has a bad day, but they love being around each other. And they have so many people who agree on many core things, like to be around each other, tend to go towards those people. That's why personally I've put dating off for so long, because I have so much to learn about myself. I remember when I was in high school, oh my God, that was horrible. The people I was dating, not that they were horrible people, but I was a horrible partner. I was terrible. The people who I did date who were terrible people, I was the terrible one. Not in a, like I was cheating on them, but more like because my parents' alcoholism, I was very emotionally unstable, and I looked like a freak. I was constantly on the fritz. Oh my God. But that's why I can tell right now who I'm turning into would not agree with someone I would date then. No. I have grown way too much, figured out way too much about myself. It wouldn't work. That's why I'm waiting, because I'm going to reach a point where I don't want to say plateau, but I've learned so much about myself and what I want that when I meet somebody, I'll be able to connect with them on a fundamental level because I have base principles that push me forward in life. And that's how you find the best relationship in your life. Give, take, meet them in the flow. Listen to the flow. Listen, communicate, and accept.